council meeting to session. We can do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We don't have roll call in here. No. Sorry. I was like, what's that? Roll call, please.
Moralia.
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
Stupin.
Here.
Daisy.
Yes.
Thompson.
Here.
The approval of minutes. Agenda, sorry. Keep going.
I move to approve the agenda. Second.
All right, motion by Aaron and a second by Naima to approve the agenda. Approval of minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the minutes.
I'm gonna make a motion.
Motion by John, second by Naima. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Is everybody okay if we hop, skip, and jump a little bit? Okay. We're gonna skip that council member appointment and go down to citizens' comment. Anybody?
Randy.
This is your time to talk.
What do you think of?
Oh, I was wondering what the last thing that you, motioned for that you,
We approved our agenda and we approved our minutes from the last December 2nd meeting.
okay. Right now, I'm fine, I'm just here for the first time.
Well,
Thank you very much, because I'm going to be a part of this community. My house is mine, I'm like, letting things that I want to know, what everything's going on, to be part of the community. Because I think I have a right to do that if I am going to be part of it. I want to be that part. I want to be a contribution, not a deterrent or anything. And I thought I should start here. I know some of the people here have some issues. It's fine. So I am just here to understand and see some things that are with the community and be part of it.
Awesome, thank you for taking the initiative and coming and seeing how your city government works and what you can do to help.
Good.
where do you live?
807 Oak Street. Last house on the right, actually, before the cement stops. Last house on the right, not on the left. Just because the last house on the right.
Anybody have any citizen comments brought to you?
Yeah, that's me.
I have a couple. I've had a couple complaints about the sidewalks and our ordinances not being enforced on, the clearance of the snow 72 hours after snowfall. I've had a couple elderly tell me that they've slipped and fallen on the sidewalk, so I think that's something we have to address on our policies on how to enforce them. We have policies in place now, but what do we do to actually enforce it? And another one, I don't know, might be brought up from you. I've had a couple people talk about the cars left on the roads when you plow. And how we're gonna proceed with that as well.
Put a snow ban in.
So we gotta put up signs. Do we have signs saying if it snows more than 2 inches? You
No
know,
signs, it's an ordinance.
I know, but that's probably where we gotta start. I mean, you look at like, I just noticed Pipestone Avenue in Flannery, you know, if
Is
it.
that,
We have to put them
is that all for residential or just emergency routes?
I think it's just emergency.
It's emergency routes, yeah.
But does anybody actually know what those are besides Main Street?
Okay, if that's all right, that if there's people that are disabled or have a handicap, or if they're older, can you work into something to help them out? Or have somebody come help them, or give them assistance?
It's just parking
like
off,
you
it's
know,
parking
you
off the
just-
street of their own house.
God,
Just like down, we have a problem on, what, Sixth Street or whatever.
There's a bunch of cars
Kinda
there.
congested in that, on Main Street there, that's.
No, there's a couple out in Canterville too, right, that don't move.
Well, it's for your own good too, so your car don't get, you know, hammered in place and you can't get out. So, and then you have to dig it out and that's no good, right?
no, I thought we were just talking about sidewalks.
Yeah, he was talking about sidewalks, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah. We're not talking about cars right now, we're
We're
talking
talking
about
cars.
sidewalks, right? Okay. Now, I understand, cars are like, your car's stuck, and like, you can't get it out. Okay, for the road plows and stuff to come by, it's like, alright.
Okay, we're gonna get back to cats, okay? The other thing is cats. There's an overabundance of cats in town that are strays or let loose, so that also needs to be approached.
I got one on this, I mean, people been hounding me forever. It's like, I'm down 4 from 13, cause I took all my cats out to the farm. And one of them don't belong, and still lives at my house, cause I feed them too well. So I have 4 cats, but 2 of my cats are in the house all day. And they don't piss on somebody's trash. But I do have a dog that comes up and runs around, I followed his trash, comes up and pisses on my porch, on my deck. It's like, okay, so I have downsides, because I know there was too many cats in my house. I talked to my neighbors, and I took all these spare cats, when they said they're gonna trap me, I had a heck of a time doing it too, because they didn't wanna leave. So I got them, I took them clear down by Coleman. I have some kids in my house, but they're not making a disaster at somebody else's place. So.
Thank you for cleaning that up. Anybody else have citizen comments? Alright.
So it's okay for the dog to come up on my deck on the back porch and piss on mine, but I've been, oh, the cat
Do you
pissed
know,
on
do
my
you know whose
dog.
dog it is, Randy? Maybe we can get hold
I
of
remember
him.
you can follow his tracks right over to.
You think it's
to
my
the
dog?
house.
Do you think I let my dog run loose, Randy?
Yes, he does.
My dog is on a chain and he goes
Enough.
outside every day.
Hey, enough. That's not happening in the middle of a council meeting. That's something we can take care of outside of a meeting.
Do we have animal control that comes over here? We like
Yeah.
talk to like
You can
Britain's,
call.
animal control with the cat situation?
I know, I like your dog. He's a good dog.
My dog does not run loose.
I think what needs to happen, and for those of you who are watching, thanks for just joining us. If you're having a problem with a dog or cat, you would be able to call, and if Susan is on the phone or not available, leave a message, and we will get back to you in regards to that. There are a lot of different cases and a lot of different scenarios for dogs and for cats and for all kinds of different animals. So the best thing to do is call the city so that we know that it's happening. Talk to Susan or leave a message and someone will get back to you because we do have ordinances in place. Thank you, and thank you both for,
Thank you.
that's right.
And if
So-
you don't know who the dog belongs to, there's not much we can do for you. It's not okay.
I like his dog. That's fine. Like, it's, it's like, no, I paid hundreds of dollars to have a cat taken, then it got mauled by a dog. They said, we can't do anything for it, so the next day I took it back, and it was over, I gave him $60 to pay him to do Kevorkian to give him a shot,
The
because
only,
I couldn't deal with it
the
myself.
only problem with everything at particular juncture is the
Okay,
one.
I'm over it.
I just wanna let you know, and thank you, I understand. The one thing that is going to be happening in Elkton, South Dakota is paper trail calls, so everybody knows, so that if something happens, it can be identified. You still
Yeah.
call her, and if she can help, she will help, but we still need to get that call to be able to have it work. And there you go, but thank you very much for coming and letting everybody know about that. Your Honor?
Well, okay, so we have a couple options on what you guys wanna do. Do you wanna proceed through our meeting without a council person, or do we wanna stop, go into executive and discuss, appointments and that kind of thing, personnel? I mean, we could run through our quick employee reports and that kind of thing, and then,
As long as it doesn't affect me, I said just do it after the executive session.
I would suggest that we get everything all put together, because there are gonna be some decisions that we are going to need to make, and we are short a council person. So if we can go ahead and do that real quick for a few minutes, and, get the person who has applied on board, I think that we should do that. I think we owe that to ourselves and to the city to have a full contentment? A full body. That's my thought.
Yeah, I'd be on board with that.
everybody be okay with a quick 5-minute executive to go over the personnel, council appointment?
I move that we adjourn for a quick executive.
Don't adjourn.
Oh, I mean, excuse me.
Make a motion.
I move that we go to executive for personnel.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Naima, second by Scott, to go into executive session for, council appointment personnel. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
We have to leave.
Motion carried.
It won't take very long.
You just have to step off a little bit, Randy.
Okay.
Came out of executive session at a 7:28. Need a motion?
I don't, where's the,
I'll make a motion to appoint Natalie for Ward 2 council member.
I
What do you wanna do?
I lost her last name.
Hagan.
Hagan. I second your motion. I just lost it for a minute.
All right, we have a motion by Aaron, second by Naima, for the appointment of Natalie Hagan as the Ward 2 council seat. Let's do a roll call vote.
Morelia,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yep.
Stufen,
Yep.
Daisy,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay.
Good to have you.
You need to stand up, please. This is the oath of office. So it's your name, your name, and then I obviously can't write, appoint, council person, or I could redo that.
Alright. I, Natalie Hagan, have been appointed to the office of Councilperson Ward 2 within and for said, do solemnly swear.
Oh, sorry, City of Oakton.
City of Elton, okay. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of South Dakota, and that I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my knowledge and ability, perform all the duties of my said office of councilperson as provided by law.
Okay. And then you need to sign that. Thank you.
Yeah, glad
All right.
glad you had that interest in coming to work.
More people to share the load.
Thank you.
All right, petitions and communications, we have a temporary liquor permit for the community club banquet, which is on the 16th.
Oh, I move to approve it.
Second.
Motion by Naima, second by John to approve the temporary liquor permit for the community club banquet on January 16th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Employee reports. Steve?
I got quite a bit of stuff to go through if you wanna get me here.
Okay. So Park and Rec, we have Natalie here. We talked last month about doing a nature program, so she's here to talk about that and a little bit of other stuff.
Yeah, I used to work at the outdoor campus in Game Fish and Parks, and I also worked in Chamberlain as the park and rec manager. And then I worked at Sanford Health, bringing disabled people hunting and fishing. So I grew up here in Elkton, and I want to bring nature classes or programs back to Elkton. So they are free. I can use my own supplies or bring supplies from the outdoor campus, which is free. And we can do indoor classes or outdoor classes as well. And we can use the community center for indoor classes or like snowshoeing, skiing, we can do like at the city park, which I have all those supplies. So bring the kids back outside. That's what I hope. Yeah. We can do family programs too, the ages, I can vary, I can do it basically any age with the class size, just depending on what program I'm gonna do. But yeah, we can do family sizes as well too, so do that through the whole year. The summer, we can do weekdays on weekends, winter, we can do weekends, so, yeah.
I've got to just tell you, Natalie,
Yeah.
I did the same thing with Ms. Thielen, and what we need at this particular point in time, I think we all have agreed, you're coming on new, but we did talk about a full-time person to head our park and rec. And if you would be interested in that, please let us know. Christy has some things here that she is working on, and there could be that. I wasn't able to bully her into taking the position, but I wanted to let you know that that's something that we are definitely talking about.
Perfect.
And just for the record, she was not able to make the meeting, and she is asking that the council do any kind of input and questions that would be able to go in the survey that she's talking about doing. I think you might have seen the video, but just to recount, she is looking to find out what our citizens want to have in Elkton, and she's doing a survey, possibly Survey Monkey, I'm not too sure. But she would like us to have input. And the other part of the report, she said the ESL resumes January 13th, and the soda share is January 18th. And the rest is, she's got some of my clothes. So that is the Park and Rec, and
Yeah.
please do consider and stay for the, what's on.
Yeah, for sure. I was in Park and Rec in Chamberlain. I did sports with the Park and Rec there, and I did also like kayaking and paddleboard and all that stuff too with it. So I'm an instructor for archery, kayaking, through all that as well, and a hunt safe instructor. So definitely want to bring more back to Elkton because I see a huge potential here in this town. So
It is good to see you.
you can see this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bar managers.
I'll hand you back all those.
Give me this one.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
We got the transient merchant signs put up, we put them up on the population signs on the edge of towns. So main roads coming into town, they'll see those signs for that deal. The school water situation, that's gone down quite a bit. I ended up having to put it in the sanitary the night of the school Christmas party. Had a bunch of cars parked on top of the drain tile. It doesn't drain very well when there's cars parked on top of it, so. But it was down far enough so I could let it go in there. Right now, it's probably pumping in, I checked it last week and it was about 1,400 to 1,500 gallons a day is what it's pumping now.
That's a
Yeah.
lot.
From running constantly to cycling about every 8 minutes.
So, are we down to one pump?
We're down to no pumps.
That one's shut off now?
Yep. But I'll get to that at the end here,
Okay,
so.
carry on.
I ordered new signs to put around the lagoons. It says contaminated water. I believe this year is our 3-year inspection, so instead of being told to put them up, I'll just get them put up. They gotta go around the corners and stuff. 3 signs on each side is what they want, because the sun's got them faded, you can't hardly read them anymore, so.
You don't put it on the CRP side, do you?
Yeah.
You do?
Oh, yeah, everywhere
Wow.
around.
Alright.
Yep. The big problem, well, the jetter, I talked to him last week, that should be done this week. He kinda sent me a picture of it, if you wanna pass it around, so hopefully, I'm hoping about Thursday I can go get it. Depending on the weather and stuff, I'd like to get it before it gets real cold, so. I had HydroClean here, last Friday, or 2 Fridays ago it was. We jetted out 5,500 feet of line. It would have been from Dave Myers' corner, south to Dave McMahon's, and then west to, all the way to the lagoon. While we were doing that, we flushed out a PVC, a 4-inch PVC fitting, a bunch of gaskets, a lot of sediment, all that kind of stuff. The problem we have now is all that sediment is sitting right in front of the discharge pipe out there. Meaning, I got a boat and paddled out there, it's probably 4 feet deep out there. The lagoon's never been cleaned out since 1976. So, I'm working with a guy, I talked to him today and he had to send me some information and stuff, and he's gonna be getting back to me on what we can do to either move some of it out of the way temporarily until we get some of the water under control, because there's way too much water running out there to do anything with it. I mean, to pump it anywhere, you know, you can't really do anything in the winter but move it and wait till the spring to get it out, so. And with that fact too, Jim Smallfield talked to me about having some of that cleaned out there. I don't know how you guys wanted to handle that.
Can you use backhoe?
Well, I don't know whose responsibility it is to clean it out,
Oh.
because it's going through our property onto his property.
Onto there.
Right.
Are you talking about the drain tile?
No, I'm talking about the
Just get it.
Digging it
the
out.
lagoon tile, or where it discharges for the lagoon, it goes across the gravel road west and goes through his and down through Landsman's and that area there, so I don't know. He asked me to bring it up, I'm bringing it up, so it's something that needs to be addressed with. I can see his concerns, there's a lot of sediment going that way, a lot of it is ending up in the lagoons and so forth. Like I said, the jetter should be here this week. The holiday lights have been taken down. And Camden from SPN, I talked to him. He wanted to know about the logo on the water tower. If we wanted to change that or just kind of leave it just the way it is. He said to change the logo. He said a lot of them, you know, like put their school mascot on there.
Yeah,
now.
so I was just thinking, her math.
Right, yep, right. But that's $15,000 to $30,000 to do
Ooh.
that.
How much does it just get?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Leave it. If you leave it, that's free. So, he also talked about a tank mixer.
Free's good?
Yeah. A tank mixer which sits up in the top of the tank and basically stirs the water up. Because right now, the way it is, there's a little burst of air that shoots up there that just basically keeps everything from freezing and moves everything around up there. If you had a tank mixer, it would be better because it's stirring stuff up, it's pumping it around, it makes better water, your water doesn't get stale from sitting up there too long. That's why we don't have the water pressure that we have in the winter time, is because I run it at a lower level to put the water faster in it, so.
Would that run constant? Or?
Yeah, it runs all the
That
time.
runs all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it's just a big circulating pump up there is what it is. So it picks it up from the bottom of the tank and brings it to the top, just
I
circulates.
expect to see one of those is.
You didn't say. but it's $15,000 to $20,000.
That's why I was
Right.
asking what the life, because I know it wasn't gonna be cheap.
No. So there's that. He said that he was working on the water tower part of this. He was working on that, and I think he said there was 3 other guys working on different sections of it or whatever in their office. But he said this one was about ready to go out for bid, and he was gonna put these 2 things in there as alternates. So when we get that stuff, you can either choose to do something or not, or whatever. We just gotta let him know. And then he just had a question on, when everything is all said and done, he wanted to know if I'd do the bacteria tests on it, which is what we do, a monthly test anyway. Because you have to have 2 back to back to be able to put your water tower back in service. So when they're all done painting and cleaning and everything, then they fill it with water and clean it, and then you gotta do your tests. So, but you gotta have 2 good tests to put back in service, so. Another thing too, is when we start getting into this, I don't know what you guys wanna do, because there's gonna be all kinds of questions and stuff like this when we start getting into the sewer and water. What do you guys want me to do? I mean, you can't have a special meeting every time you gotta have a question answered, I guess. What?
You talking from citizens or?
Well, no, if SBN or
Oh, yeah.
engineers,
Yeah,
contractors,
right.
any of that stuff comes up, because it's gonna be, there's gonna be questions. I mean, what do you want?
You need the ability to answer their questions when they ask you, we need to do this.
Right, they
And
can't,
like,
they can't
do
wait
I
for a
have
month
the
to have a
authority
meeting.
to say it's all right to do it, and without talking to all of you?
Yeah, the committee and.
Yeah,
Start
I would
their
start with
process.
your committee,
Okay,
which is gonna probably change now.
okay.
Yeah.
We'll see if they get fluctuated around.
But being able to start with your committee and, then have conversations in regards to it, and it depends on where all this is gonna fall. If it's going to be something later, and, would they need the information so that they can move, so that you can present it at the next meeting, your committee should be able to take care of that with no problems, and then bring it all to the council.
Because they're gonna wanna know on, you know, what kind of fire hydrants we wanna use, for example, you know, what kind of valve, you know, stuff like that. You know, is what they're gonna,
Some of that's in your,
You can answer those questions.
yeah,
Right.
some of that's in your realm.
I mean, cause
of
that's
experience.
budgeted stuff like that.
Right.
You know, I would say if they wanna say, do you wanna move it here 4 feet, 5 feet? Go
Right.
ahead and do that.
Yeah.
If it's something that comes up and it's gonna cost the city $15,000-$20,000 extra, then I think we better take that somewhere else. But if it's saying, move it here, to me, I feel comfortable
You can handle that.
between you and the engineers and stuff, you get, I mean, that's what.
Fire hydrants,
You're the expert.
if you
well,
got.
it's,
Yeah,
a lot of the
questions,
stuff
just
is
ask.
personal preference on what you wanna use. Well, you wanna keep the, you know, it all the same, you know, the newer parts of town has, you know, American Darling fire hydrants, you're not gonna wanna put something else in, you know, it's
And the
just.
firefighter's not gonna want.
Right, yeah, they don't want 15 different
You can
kinds
all
of
use
hydrants.
Just
So,
uniform.
yeah.
Questions as your committee, everything else?
You got it.
Okay.
That's what I think.
That's all I got.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah.
So, quick question, so to clean out the ponds and stuff, do we pump that out, do we dredge it out, what's the?
Well, what he suggested doing right now is he's got a machine or something, like a high pressure contraption of some sort, that he can blow all that stuff away from the pipe, all the solids and stuff. And what they would do is, it'd be just like a lagoon pump up here at the dairies, they'll agitate it and then pump it out. Well, I sent him a picture of the layout out there, and he was wondering if we could dump it into the CRP, which you probably could, but that's a paperwork nightmare, or just put it on farm ground.
Right.
Close farm ground.
Could we talk to the area farmers and?
That's
And
the way to
maybe they might be able to, depends how good the nitrogen is and all that stuff, we might be able to get it paid for.
Right. Well, you know, that's another thing too, that they would come and probe it and test it, you know, and it's more or less in the first pond is where it's at, because it all settles there and then the water just goes by. Well,
There's a pond, is that the northeast pond?
Yeah,
Or what do you consider the?
it'd be the north, the furthest north pond, the main one that goes on.
Doesn't have to pipe,
No,
it won't, okay.
Doesn't that pond get enough groundwater to dilute it?
no.
No?
It'll take care of a lot of the, you know, the solids, the human solids and stuff, but the sediment and stuff is the problem. You know, all the infiltration that we got, it's, you can drive out there now and you can see a mound right in the middle of the room. There's all sediment.
Well, I'm sure all those
79
flushable wipes aren't
that's
helping our
a
cause
lot.
any either.
Nope. So, it's all that kind of stuff, and you just can't push it away anymore. So I will keep you updated on that, so, and I shut that pump off, it'd been 2 weeks ago today, actually, it's been running on its own, but I'll probably be pumping it again tomorrow because that lagoon out there, it can't get out fast enough, so if I put a pump on the existing manhole that's out there and just pump it over the bank, then at least that keeps us going until we can figure something out, so.
It seems like even people's basements and stuff, everybody you talk to is, most people are shut up, you know.
It's getting better, I mean, you know, I talked to Steve Myers and, you know, his was probably about the worst on this side of town. You can tell it in the manholes too, there's not as much coming in anymore, but if you can't get it out of town, it don't matter, so.
Steve, you and I did discuss the time off request. I have that form done now, so
Oh.
Susan will have copies of it for you.
Perfect. Okay, I gave you a printout of, meeting date changes this year. We've got a lot of, beginning monthly meetings ending on the first, second, or third. So the first date change to would be a Wednesday usually, the second one would be the next Monday. I mean, we can do this virtually at a time, or we can do all at once, whatever there was wanting to do it all at once. So if you wanna make a motion to accept certain dates as the ones we're gonna go with. Or we can leave them on the dates that are there, just know that we're gonna run into problems not having all our bills. Financials probably won't get done, you know, so we'll be backlogged a little bit.
We'll just make them where,
Just go the second Monday.
make them so we're.
Just keep it on Monday, that's
Yeah.
big.
Okay.
That way.
What about Labor Day? It's the 7th is the first Monday, so you're pushing it out another 7 days, that's the 14th, that's really late. We could change it to the 9th or even, like I was thinking even Thursday the week before, so that'd be what? Or,
I won't be here. What about that Tuesday?
well, yeah, that could be it too, so the 8th?
Or that'd be, that'd be just one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would be fine too,
I'm okay with that.
okay. So,
So February, changing it to the 10th.
10th, the 9th, the 8th, the 10th, and the 9th, 3, okay. Perfect. Just motion to pass those changes.
Anybody want to
Make
make
a motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Which one of you was that?
Aaron?
Thank you. Motion by John, second by Aaron to change the monthly meeting dates as followed. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And I'll put it in the minutes so it's official or such. So I'm reminding you guys of the community club banquet is on the 16th. The city will pay for your tickets. I need to know how many of you are going. So if you would raise hands if you're going. 1, 2, 3.
I think I already got one.
You already
The
got
bank
one?
pays for ours, so
Okay, well then I don't have to worry
we'll
about
take it out of the bank.
But you're in the way.
You have to pay for your own.
Oh.
Some people, like, we don't want to.
Community club banquet
Yeah.
is on the 16th, and the city pays for the concert.
Yeah. Or, or you're digging out and taking out.
It's a
of-
meal and an
Yeah,
entertainment.
it's like,
Yeah.
some people are like.
Is it
No,
the same
I don't.
entertainment as last year?
No, it's that.
No, it's a.
But
Oh,
there, if there's somebody else
I
that
think this is a different.
says, okay, you can dump this. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, yeah, just let me know.
Here,
You
of
and
course,
yours.
then you have to have, yeah, moving
Okay.
and carrying and disposal of. Because there's the water.
Alright, fire department? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
January 28th is the council training we have scheduled with Leanne Kirkman. If you have not registered yet, I think I sent forward you guys a link. Otherwise, I can register for you, but you need to register. So if you want me to register you, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just do it.
Anybody registered themselves yet?
I think I
I,
did. I thought I
oh, just
did.
go ahead.
I can check with her. I can check
Yeah,
it
'cause
out. Okay.
and then we're meeting,
I don't know.
and then White's coming, and they're
She's
gonna be-
inviting more than just Elton.
and
I
then-
don't know who's all coming.
I thought it
So
was-
we let you be available, it's 5:30 to 9:30 on Tuesday the 28th. It'd be good training to jump into. Okay, I'll get you registered.
Is it here?
Yes,
Mhm. Then we might be
here at the
meeting-
community center. Okay, I got a letter from Cook's middle of December that our rate is going up 3%, so what we pay them is 3%, what we're set at for the community is still covering that, so we won't need a rate increase for our garbage. The auditor was in last Thursday, and we ran through a bunch of paperwork, he'll be back probably this coming week to do some more stuff. April 14th is our election. You can begin circulating petitions on January 31st, they're required to be returned on February 28th. Those up for re-election, to all 2-year terms. In Ward 1, Naima, Ward 2 would be Natalie, you would have to rerun, your term is only up until the next election. John in Ward 3, and then the mayor is open in Ward. The mayor is at large. I think that is it. Let me double check.
Can I throw an important date out?
Sure.
The Brookings Chamber is actually doing what the chamber is, what it gives to you, what the membership perks are kind of thing. It's January 15th, it's free to attend. It's in Brookings at 5:30 if anybody's interested in going along with me.
They have good food.
It doesn't say there's food at this one, it's not a mixer.
Oh, okay.
There might not be food.
There might not be food.
That's the next day.
Mixers, good food.
See at
Okay. Before I move on.
5:30.
Be there at 5:30?
Mm-hmm.
I can send you the link.
Do you wanna talk about the property values?
Well,
No.
I need to, are you talking new business?
No,
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
no, we're still in finance officer. Should we wait until we get down here?
Mm-hmm.
Is it down here?
No, the only thing I have is the resolution.
Okay, then yeah, I'll put it under yours, that's fine.
Okay. So we finally received our bid from Double D for tearing down the side property house. It is just over $2,000 more than what we were quoted. So the total bill was, you can see, $9,679.48 for the demolition. We were originally quoted $6,800 plus an additional $600 to remove the tree stumps. I called him, finally got to talk to the guy today, and I asked him, I know my council's gonna wanna know why our increase in cost, and he said it mainly came down to the fact of how much stuff was in the house. There was just more labor because there was so much stuff left in the house. So, unfortunately, that brings our total cost for that project to $16,464.68.
We just got our bill in there.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, seriously, 6 months after you tore down the house? But yeah, that can be done.
Hard to remember all, 6 months
So they
ago.
went $2,000 over their quote.
Yeah.
That's kind of ridiculous.
Yep.
I agree.
Yeah, it was
Good thing
ridiculous.
to remember for the
Did
future.
they not walk in the house?
You couldn't, we
Oh.
couldn't. It was done, the quote was done without being able to walk into the property.
Oh.
because we didn't own it, we had no way to get permission to go in the property. So yeah, it was they looked at the structure, we didn't know what was in the house,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
now I'm done.
Okay. Do you have anything for the fire department? No. Ambulance?
Nothing really, we had our CPR class with, EOS, is that what it is? Nobody showed up,
Aw.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
so we're gonna reschedule, I guess.
Was there miscommunication?
Well, it's kinda like if you told high school kids that your instructor wasn't gonna be there that day, are they gonna show up? The instructors told them that they wouldn't be in class that night, so
Oh,
I suppose they figured, hey, it's a night off, so nobody showed up.
gotcha. I
And
have
that's
Sherry's
what-
report.
We'll get it done this month.
Sherry is unable to be here, she's sick. So her report to story hour is going well, but attendance is lower due to winter. 1,000 books before kindergarten reading program is going well. The library had a tree on display for the Festival of Trees. Daycare delivery books are going out to 3 daycares at this time. And she was working on the summer reading program, Imagine Your Story, which focuses on fairy tales, mythology, and fantasy. Next library board meeting is Wednesday, January 15th at 5 p.m. That might be a problem. Whoops.
Bar?
Bar, you have maybe I can read it if you want me to, but I have it in front of you.
Alright.
I suppose we should.
Yeah.
Read it. I apologize, I'm not able to attend tonight. We are working on with our patrons to have a couple of fun events in the bar, trivia, poker, maybe some board game nights in the next couple of months. There has been some interest in some nights like this every couple of weeks or once a month for a night out. We will be having a Super Bowl potluck on the 2nd of February for the Super Bowl and be having some Super Bowl board spaces for sale leading up to the game, along with some prizes the night of the game. We of course are open every Sunday through January for playoff football. I haven't really had a chance to look. There's some notes to take on it last time. Well, it's certainly not that big of a take on now.
Perfect. Budget overview?
You don't have that, I'm sorry.
Committee reports, anybody got anything to report? Kinda.
Oh, with the chairs?
No, just the review.
Oh, well.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Greg has all the review. We completed all the employee reviews, save one, and she was sick, so we will take care of that this month and get that all taken care of. And that's all. And then Park and Rec, we talked about that. That's it.
Are we advertising for Park and Rec?
Probably.
The director's position?
And I got something I don't know what to follow. We're gonna be having, dueling pianos here as a baseball fundraiser.
May 2nd.
Yeah, May 2nd. So, yeah, license for that too.
Awesome. That would be fun. Oh, yeah, resolutions.
Okay. Yes. In front of you, you'll find your salary resolution. That we are required by law to put, I have a typo in there, imagine that. Cut and paste. We're required by law to have this in the newspaper every year of everybody's salary, so I need a motion to pass the resolution.
No second.
Motion by Naima, second by Scott to approve the resolution 2020 1.01. All in favor?
Alright.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next one is about the same thing. It's a resolution, allowing for us to fine people for certain things. I did add in the sump pump discharge and the sanitary sewer that we had. I think we need to redo that ordinance to state that, you know, it's allowable from certain months to certain months. And obviously, via Steve's discretion, he's allowing the pool to dump into the sewer.
Could you do like a conditional use permit type thing with that?
I don't think.
Or does it have, you know what I mean?
Well,
So
yeah.
it's only by permit only.
Yeah, we can put that in there as.
I think
in
that's a
the
good idea,
ordinance.
that way we don't have, well, he's
The
doing
ones
it,
that
why
we-
can't I do it? We have written approval done.
Okay, yeah, we can definitely work on that.
So then you can do that from month to month, not just, sort of like 3 months.
It'll be case by case.
Were there any other changes?
No, I
on
didn't
there?
make any
Everything
other
else is the
changes.
same?
They're all the same.
Is that license one, is that chickens or is it animals? Or dogs? 631?
That's, I think, both, anything that's due by the French.
Gotcha. If you don't have your dog's license, come on down. Right.
Right.
Need a motion to approve?
This will move.
Second.
Motion by Greg, second by Naima to approve resolution 2020-1.02. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
The next resolution is, to convey the property we were just talking about that we tore down to the economic development for the purpose of selling it as for a home to be built on.
I do not have that.
No, you don't, I do.
Mhm.
So it says, be it resolved by the city of Elkton, South Dakota, whereas the city of Elkton recently acquired real property from the county of Brookings, whereas the city has determined this real property should be conveyed to the Elkton Development Corporation for possible residential uses, which will support and promote economic development in the city of Elkton. The real property referred to in this resolution as described below, which I'm not going to read. Now therefore be it resolved by the city of Elkton, South Dakota, that the city will convey the above described property to the Elkton Development Corporation for the purpose of the sale of the described real property, and that the mayor, city finance officer, and city attorney are authorized to execute the documents required to complete the transaction in accordance with this resolution. This is just saying we're going to convey the property to them, and we, as a council, there will be a contract drawn up as far as costs and that such before we actually make the exchange.
There'll be what?
I had a question that there was no place to put a cost, what we want, because we want to get our money back for what we sold.
Mm-hmm.
And he says there'll be a contract in order where we will state how much that will be.
Is there a possibility of retaining your interest from, bringing this to someone that could affordably live there to help someone out? Instead of just destroying it and trying to turn it into a parking lot or
We're-
whatever.
It's already
that's
torn down.
It's a bare lot.
The house that was there was torn
Yeah.
down.
Oh,
They're
okay,
already-
okay,
there's-
it's gone already.
We're trying to make the transaction to allow somebody else
Oh,
to build a
okay,
house on
okay,
there.
I'm sorry.
Were you able to check what Leanne had said in terms of what you would be able to do with surplus properties? In other words, be able to auction it off for the highest bidder, to be able to maintain money for that, or?
We can only recoup what we got invested.
Okay, just for the record, that is not some, because that would have been under citizens' comment, but I wanted to put it in there, because people wanna know why is it going that way, but it's a
You
recouping.
can't make any money on it, you can only,
Yeah, otherwise
Yeah,
there's
that's
incentive
bad.
to kick people out of their houses and start selling their properties for profit, and you can't do that as a public entity.
What approximately, how much is it roughly, that's over, you're talking about, I mean?
We, with all of with the attorney fees, the landfill costs, the back taxes we paid, and the demolition, we paid out $16,464.
So price lot for Elton.
It's a big lot.
It's a very, it's.
It isn't that it's high price, but it costs money to do that kind of stuff, it really does. Cleaning it
How
up.
much is a lot?
Generally, if you buy a regular lot, which is 150 by
60.
165, you're talking 15 grand plus or minus.
Okay.
And this is bigger than that.
It's 125
What's the dimensions of that lot?
125 or 165.
Yeah, it's 125 along the north-south road. So it's like a lot, a 150 lot and a 100 lot together. It's a big
Yeah, it
lot.
doesn't add up.
Oh, wait a minute.
Totally.
Hmm?
You got me confused.
No, it's like a 75 and a 100.
There you go.
No, 75.
125.
Yeah, 75.
It's 100 and, what did we say it was, 100?
It's 125 or 165. Yeah, that's what I was told. 120.
I thought it was 150.
No.
Hold on a minute.
Maybe it's 125. It's a normal corner lot plus a little bit, so. I don't know, I've never seen it, I know it's wide.
We're saying-
Yeah, it's fine. It's a little bigger than a normal lot.
Bigger than,
It's over 100, I know that.
normal lot's 100 by 165.
Right.
I think it was 125. That sounds right.
Yeah, I know that.
I know we accept the resolution.
Does anybody wanna discuss more?
Just the price of the final cost is gonna take care of all of our lawyer fees, just
I think we
switch
can,
everything over or whatever, right?
that's one thing we can talk about in executive is property. So if that's something we wanna do, we totally can.
And as long as we recoup our cost too, we're fine with it. I mean,
That'll be a separate contract drawn up
Yes.
after this. This is just.
This is just that we were going to, because once we pass this, it has to be published, and it's still 20 days before it takes effect as a resolution.
If there's any more discussion on it, I believe we would table it and go to executive and then come out and deal with it. Or if there's, that would be the way to do it if you want to discuss it more. So do you want to table it?
This resolution is just saying that
Yeah,
we're going to
I-
convey the
I-
property.
I don't know why I moved to accept the resolution.
I'll do, made a motion, I'll second.
Okay, motion by Scott, second by Greg to approve resolution 2020-1.03. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the last resolution is adopting the Brookings County pre-disaster mitigation plan for 2019 through 2024. Whereas Brookings County received assistance in the preparation of the Brookings County Disaster Mitigation Plan from representatives of the City of Elkton and received funding from the South Dakota Office of Emergency Management, whereas several public planning meetings were held between September 2018 and March of 2019 regarding the development and review of the Brookings County Pre-Disaster Mitigation Plan. And whereas the Brookings County Pre-Disaster Mitigation Plan contains several potential future projects and mitigate hazard damage in the City of Elkton, and whereas the Federal Emergency Management Agency has rendered its approval of the Brookings County Pre-Disaster Mitigation Plan of November 7, 2019, and whereas a duly noticed public hearing was held by the Brookings County Pre-Disaster Mitigation Team on February 27, 2019 to solicit public comments in Brookings County, and whereas a duly noted public meeting was held by the City of Elkton Council on January 6, 2020 to formally approve and adopt the Brookings County Pre-Disaster Mitigation Plan. Therefore, be it resolved, the City of Elkton adopts the Brookings County Pre-Disaster Mitigation Plan. A lot of words.
Just out of curiosity, what was the plan?
Well,
I mean, what are they gonna, just generally, one sentence, what are they gonna do?
there was talk about, like a shelter out in the park, like a tornado shelter. I mean, I don't know that any of it's going to happen. It was just something that they wanted us to talk about and
wanna stick around and talk about the details with the whole council?
I don't know if there's, is there details? I mean,
Well, if we're gonna draw up a contract,
yeah,
I think they probably wanna have a little bit of discussion.
I just thought you'd draw it up and then forward it on, and then if they
Yeah,
would
it's fine.
vote on it or not, they would vote either do it or not. Is that, because it's gotta go residential, it's single family residential. I mean, you could apply for some different, but that would be what you'd want, right, as a single
Right.
family
Yeah,
residential?
I want it for sure.
You think, yeah, not a major high-rise apartment or nothing, so. I mean, you guys have to set the price, so I don't know what there is to really talk about.
Just when you get it, just email it to Justin.
And I'll take it to them, and then if they agree, then it's up to getting things signed and go through the process, which is legal, you know.
I just wanna make sure we're going forward on the right foot and making sure we're doing everything proper the way we should be doing it. And I know Chuck, you and I have had a good relationship and we're good about communication and
That's fine, how many times, have you guys, you bought one property from through the city before, or two?
I think we bought two, one for sure. We bought the one with the two homes were,
Didn't buy that through the city.
huh?
You didn't buy that through. When we bought property? No, we didn't own that.
You didn't own that?
Nope.
Somehow that got, anyway, they ended up with it.
Yeah.
I know I bought one property through them, that somehow you guys,
Yeah, no, yeah, that too, yeah.
that's.
You mean the corner
Yes.
of those? We didn't own those either.
No, I didn't think you guys owned them.
So you never
I
owned
think it's
it
just a
before?
matter of if you.
Not residential homes, no. You bought, we've done property
Commercial.
commercially. You would, the Economic Development Corporation helped with this. Connie Stice, or Connie McGill's property in the fitness center.
I don't know.
We also were involved in Conceal Lake too, weren't we, or?
That, yes, that is, and we did own that property, yes.
Okay.
So from that perspective, I mean, you guys pretty much are in the driver's seat of putting out the contract. There's no negotiation there, right, as far as you gotta recover your money. That's like I
So,
said.
you know, last time we met, ex-mayor said it was like 14,000 some, so now I suppose you got the attorney fees in there, so that's what.
It doesn't matter, whatever it is.
I'm not sure where he came up with that number,
Okay.
honestly.
Right, that's why I'm suggesting that if we have more conversation, which might need to happen, that you guys either stick around or come back a little bit.
Oh, if
Then
something
we can
major
have
comes up,
that.
just call me.
Yeah.
If something comes up, call me.
Find out the bill,
Give 'em a ride.
email it to Chuck.
Or just let me know and when we'll take it and.
Jamming time.
Well, and I know going forward, we wanna be able to explore with you guys what we can in town to economically grow. And so, when you guys have meetings, I know you haven't been super active in really going out and developing and that kind of thing, but I know we talked when I first joined about having somebody from the council sit on your board or be at your meetings kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so, we really just want a transparency between us so we can
Yeah, we
work
wanna
together.
work together.
Yeah.
We gotta work together, 'cause we gotta work together. We work together, we move mountains.
Yes, yep, so, we'll have to have a sit down with that,
Okay.
once we redo our committees and
Yeah, that's fine.
figure out what's going on, have a cup of coffee.
Okay.
It's kind of past my bedtime too.
You got a bad cold.
Me too.
I'm just getting old.
The award pays.
But if some comes up, yeah, no.
Sustaining joke with Elijah.
I know my knee has not like pants on it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay. We need to pass this on to class.
PDM.
I'll make a motion.
I second.
Sorry, Greg, yeah.
Second, great.
Motion by John, second by Greg, to approve resolution 2020 1.04. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. City infrastructure projects, I think you caught us all up in your report, right?
We heard from Jeff at all? No.
I left a
like
message with
that
him,
cable.
I left a message with him last week and I haven't heard back from him either, so.
Do we have any plans drawn up?
They're working on it, that's what Camden said, I specifically asked him that, I said, you know, are you getting this done or what? He said it was high priority in their office, so.
My priority in September.
Yeah,
Because it was Christmas and New Year's.
And it should have been already out for bid.
Exactly, I think we're gonna be screwed.
That's not what the town wants to hear.
Well, I know, but
I can call him again tomorrow and.
I thought we were
get him
bidding
up
in
here.
January, we can't bid in January when you don't even have it out there.
Exactly.
Yep.
We're coming up on a year of going out to pier to get our funding. We should have bid already. They're asking me, we need to close the loan. Can't close the loan without surcharges. We can't surcharge until we know what the project costs.
Okay.
New business. So the laptops for council, that was brought up by Naima and myself. We attended the school board meeting last month, and they all have handy dandy computers. I know not everybody sitting at the table has a computer at home. It really helps them do their research, communicate. I don't know if that's something you guys would be interested in.
And it keeps it personal and private. We got our emails, and not using a family computer or public computer, even the phone, because there's a lot of things you can't do on your phone that would need to be done. You could even, like what she's doing, you take notes. But, excuse me, it brings us into a more professional avenue. And it would be passed on, cleaned up, passed on to the next person that would be sitting in your seat if you don't keep your seat, and so on. So I thought that was a cool thing. Susan's husband thought it was really good. We talked for a little while. Well, actually, we talked to a couple of people. Yeah. Yeah.
I know with purchasing equipment before, the schools helped us out with that type of thing, so that's something we can ask them since they buy in bulk of their equipment, if they would buy us some and we would reimburse them for it, kind of thing, good prices. I don't know if that's something you guys would be interested in. Making it more
See what the
efficient.
cost is.
I say we should, yeah, if we're interested, in it, we should look at cost and what it costs to, keep them updated and all that other stuff. I mean, personally, I have two laptops at home, I really don't care for a third one myself, but.
I'm not, you know my position on technologies.
It might be useful, to look at it two different ways, I guess, you either go all in, or do we have one or two to say, hey, somebody might be on the council that don't have a computer? And maybe be useful for them, so it could be a kind of a twofold look, but just look at cost.
Perfect. Election?
I already talked about that, sorry.
Brookings Economic Development, Elkton Development, we just covered that, and then the chamber thing in Brookings as well, that I already brought up. City emergency plan,
Generators?
I did, because that's part of it, we'll come back to that.
Do we have a real emergency plan?
No.
Fire department, ambulance?
No.
That's something we probably should do.
Should we get Bob Hill?
No.
No.
Guys, my lord.
I didn't mean it that. Well, we love you. No,
I think we can sit down.
We sit down
Fire
and,
department, ambulance, and the
yeah.
city
And there's
officials.
outlines, so if, I did a little research on like being a Red Cross
Yep.
affiliated emergency shelter, and there's certain things you can and cannot do and a certain checklist that you follow. I know during our last storm, we were warned we could have outages because of the ice, and so Steve brought the generator down, we were ready to go in case something did happen, but we have no rules in place. We can't have people bringing their cats and dogs into an area with the general population, it has to be separated, so.
Well, then I think you don't have too many people in here, right?
Yeah, there's a capacity. So we'll have to sit down and figure that.
The whole thing.
I think there's grants and stuff where you need to have that in place too, so.
Yep.
I can't believe we haven't done it before.
It was done when I was on a long time ago, and Susan, I think, remembers that, because I had a great big old black thick book, and I remember passing it on to my predecessor, the person after me, and nobody remembers it. It was an emergency management manual. It talked about how many things we would have to cover if they couldn't get out here, because we have some, you can't say tactical, what would be the word? Things that they have to come out and inspect all the time. I don't know how they word it, but in this manual, it talked about you have to go out and do this if
Just the
sheriffs
flow.
can't come in.
They go through the flow of things, how it's gonna, you're gonna set up your command and all that stuff.
And I'm sure there's an outline that we would follow, there's gotta be somebody to mediate that type of thing.
Did you talk to like neighborhood, like Flandreau or Brookings to just like get their input on it?
Yeah, and that's what we need to do, because we need help from them.
Yeah.
What's the city have for a generator now?
It's a 10,000 kW. It's direct hookup, we got a panel back there plugging in, and it'll run most of the stuff in the community center. So-
Enough for the heat and the.
Oh, yeah, there's propane.
Right, so,
prices, so,
you
you
know,
know,
heat up and stuff like that.
you're not gonna be in here cooking and all that kind of stuff, it'll stay warm, so.
That brings us,
Traeger's in.
that brings us back, so FEMA has an actual grant available, and it's lots of different things, but generators are covered under there. The closing, it opens in September and it closes in January 31st, so I guarantee we're not writing a grant in that amount of time. So that's something, when we do our emergency management plan, we can look at what we need to move forward with an efficient plan, and we can write a couple
No.
plans.
I have a rough draft of that from my job, so I
Bring it on.
And I'm sure, I know you all said no, but I'm sure Bob has an outline that he would follow and fill in the blank situation.
And he's gonna have to be involved anyhow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's the
he's-
county's emergency
exactly.
management guy, so hopefully he doesn't watch our videos. The review of ordinances, so we've talked about a couple of them. One that was brought to my attention was the 21 to enter the bar. I don't know, fellow patrons that have been in the bar, there are lots of times there are people under 21 in the bar. So I don't know.
Well, I
if
think that should be an insurance policy for us, right? I mean,
There's liability issues, so as a bartender and not a city-owned bar, it's up to the bartender's discretion if they want to serve an 18 to 20-year-old with their parent in the bar. A lot of places say no because of the liability. As a city-owned operation, I guarantee that's an automatic no.
yeah.
But the simplicity of even having them in there, when our
Yeah.
ordinance says no. If we're gonna have ordinances, we either need to be proficient on following them and enforcing them, or we change our ordinances so we're not turning a blind eye to them all the time.
We need to post it.
It's already posted, it's a process of regulating it. So if they have a lot of weddings over here, if they have the wedding here and reception, and then they end up having a dance, they get kicked out for a little bit when they break down from the meal to go to the dance, and a lot of people will take their kids over to the bar. I know that's one Jason said he's had an issue with, is kids running around in the bar. Or, like, they just had a fish fry, so the whole family comes down for the fish fry. And so, yeah.
We don't have people under 21 in there without their parents.
Yeah.
Without parents?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Drinking pops. All the time.
Really?
Yes.
And even with your parent, you shouldn't, I mean,
You still can't be in there.
the video lottery.
Definitely without your parents.
Well, it's either we're gonna enforce, like she said, enforce the ordinance, so you can't be in there, or you can't be in there.
But it's like a state law where you can be in an establishment with your parents.
There's video lottery
But with
in
the
there,
video lottery
and it's
being
not
open.
closed off. It's open.
Kind of throws a wrench in that law. So I don't know if that's something we need to discuss with this date on the video lottery, how that works. Something we can do.
Well, what do we want as a council?
My personal opinion is my kids don't belong in a bar,
I don't-
so I'm not gonna bring my kids to the bar. I mean, in the summertime, the kids come to like the off-sale door and order a Shirley Temple and leave, but they're not, or come in and pick up a pizza, but they're not,
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
but they're not coming into the bar and bellying up
But
at the
then
bar
if
and
you're gonna
ordering
say
a drink.
all 21 people in the office, it would be 21 as well too,
Exactly.
so,
Well, it's either.
That has to
It's
be
either all or none.
Wow.
But it says to enter,
Mhm.
because of the video lottery, that's different than going to the.
And a lot of places that like, so.
And that's the way it was, because I remember we had a few years back, this is when Bernice worked there, still, we had an issue with a couple of residents bringing their kids in.
Mhm.
And they were going by, you can be in there with your parent, but they weren't sitting with their parents.
Yeah.
And if you can be in there, but they gotta sit right beside
ruling that, you know, the video lottery,
And we don't, if you look at our, what we make in money, we don't wanna lose video lottery anymore.
So maybe that's is that an attorney question of what we can and cannot do there? Is our city ordinance not even upstanding because of state law?
until,
We can make state law more restrictive. So we're okay.
Yeah.
just enforcing.
I was just gonna say, it sounds like just the enforcement alone is the problem.
Yeah, enforcement is the problem, people don't wanna say you can't bring it.
You know, where would the argument be?
Probably enforcement with bartenders, I guess. Nobody wants to be a bad guy.
Well, until everything is, the dust is dusted away, maybe it can be temporary until we get the final rule. And then if it stays that way, then people are already kinda there. But it is a problem.
So, we wanna talk to whoever we need to talk to as far as the lottery?
Well, the laws are kind of conflicting because you have to have it in sight of whoever is operating the establishment. So like your bartenders have to be able to see your video lottery. But in order to have younger people in there under 21, it has to be completely closed off.
We got
Can you see
cameras
where
back
it's at
there,
now?
right? All you gotta do is a camera to a screen.
But it
If you
has
want,
to
if you
be-
wanna close off your video
You have to
lottery.
bring the screen to the bar area.
Right.
Right now it's in the office.
It has to be completely closed off.
And can you see all the video lotteries? So you have this
No.
wall and the other wall.
You have to have
No, I
like
can't.
a fish tank camera.
Right, yeah.
Food for thought, ask the attorney, see what he says. The stray cats, we kinda already discussed, but we have a huge issue with them, and they're all over town, so we're gonna start trapping again. I'm gonna come get another live trap.
That?
What are you doing after you're trapping them? Are you just bringing
For
them?
anyone 21 to be in.
Yeah.
So it depends on the situation, so the one place I know of for sure, the animal control said if they're feral, they would honestly come out and just keep bags on the spot as they go.
Yeah.
But that's gonna cost us a lot of money to have them come and clean up the town. And if we're taking them to the Humane Society, we have to foot that bill as well, so we're just gonna try to find farms to take them
Yeah.
for now, but I
Take a
know.
farm.
Most of the farms I know are full of cats and they don't want it anymore.
Yeah. Are people feeding them or?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a couple that hang out in my shed. I have to say, my cat does get out, and but she likes the mouse, and I try to stop her. But
I've never seen your cat out by my house before.
I don't think she goes
She
very
doesn't go
far.
very far. I think she
But
stays in your yard.
Your cat registered and spayed and neutered, so.
There is no registration for cats and dogs. and such.
Is there a limit to the number?
Yes.
You
It's
have 4
six.
animals.
4, yeah. I
Not
just read
including
that.
birds,
When I
that's it.
saw my friend walk in, I got the ordinance book out because I knew where he was going with that.
The only thing is, so our running at large just says no owner of any animal shall permit any such animal to run at large. So when I'm walking my dog and the neighbor has their cat out just roaming free and he treats it, I don't really feel bad because I can't help that my dog barks. And that's my issue, is I have an outside dog. He's outside all the time, so when I get up at 3 in the morning and he's barking and I have to go outside and there's an orange cat sitting across from him just staring at him and he's trying to kill it, it disrupts the whole neighborhood.
They're everywhere.
They are, so, yeah. If you have a cat somewhere that you want us to come trap, let us know. Bills? Should we pay some bills?
You got your regular printout, the little slip I gave you, it's either an addition or a change in the amount because of other bills that came in, or I got the actual statement and was missing some invoices. Yeah. Are we paying that? Did we say we were paying that?
Question for Dave. Does anybody remember when we went to Twin City Fan, who was paying that bill?
What's this stuff?
Porta potties on the little sheet.
I thought.
I remember they were gonna,
The school took care of that, right?
Yep.
I thought they were gonna take
Yeah,
care
but
of
they were
it.
taking care of it.
Well, I got the bill.
No,
Oh.
That's a discussion of what was said.
that was a big thing, that was, they were not going to pay for them.
What?
No, it's okay if that's what you remember. I mean, I don't remember.
That's what I specifically, I remember them saying, they're not paying for it.
One of the council members was gonna go talk with them.
Pretty sure that was Dave.
They did.
Yeah. How much was it?
$1,600.
Whoa. Jeez.
Well, I think there needs to be some conversation. We can talk about this a little later. so-
We can take that off the list, not pay it right now.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, I would assume we need to have a little
Now-
conversation there.
We talked about examining all the bills. Do you want to do that now, or do we want to have you stay after and do it? How do you want to handle that?
We can do it, later, because we are gonna go to executive.
Okay.
So
But I won't be here if you have any questions. If you can call me, I'll be up.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on there? Are we? Is that a duplicate again? Did we have that one?
Yeah, it was
Redo it.
already paid.
Oh,
The Army's already paid.
Already did.
So those, anything, I have, yeah. There's several liquor ones that we have to pay in advance.
Can we hold that one until they give us some plans?
I don't know.
Should we dare?
Also, the auditor is in there. We will hold that check until we actually get our audit report. I don't know, if you want me to hang on to it, I can.
to be paid when complete,
You gonna vote?
We got one, guy in Brookings had one, so we could get out to the lagoon and look and see what's going on.
How to vote?
Flat bottom roll.
We had one years ago and somebody stole it.
Oh, really?
Because I think it was stored out at the lagoon instead of hauled in.
Oh.
It's in the shed now.
An interesting thing.
I just
Learn
when
all
you
kinds
guys
of
think out
stuff.
on a boat, I was like, you were out on the poop ponds in a boat? Oh.
That's how you get out there.
Oh, well, yeah, that's the
Can we
best way
get
to
a
get
glass
out
bottle
there.
one for
Way out there.
Put that theater in,
Make, make you one out of flex steel.
Who needs that?
Mm.
Do you have any questions?
I move we pay the bills except for the ones that we're not gonna pay just yet, and the ones that are going to be paid when the, for the audit, when it's complete. So, that's what I'm doing. Pay the bills.
So we're gonna pay the bills, but not the porta potties or the audit.
Nope.
All right, motion by Naima, second by Natalie to approve the bills and pay them. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The sheriff's report is floating around. I'll get you a copy sometime tomorrow.
The sheriff's report's here.
Geez, that night of that storm, I had to go in at like 2 in the morning, and there was no travel advised. He was sitting over there by the football field, I'm off to work, I'm like, what's this guy doing in town? It was like whiteout conditions, the roads are horrible.
Excuse me.
You probably got a call saying somebody was stuck in the ditch between here and Brookings and was like, well, I'm halfway there, might as well continue.
That was crazy.
Sunday night, I was leaving my shop and was down here about 8:30 at night. Parked right here on Main Street. Not a car at the bar, no nothing.
So they just sit there then, or?
Oh, yeah, he was, I was.
There was 2 of them in the parking lot by the football field next to the shed.
I noticed
for,
that
oh, what
a
they were
long
doing.
time.
Yeah, a long time.
Mhm.
A lot of times when they sit there doing their paperwork.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they have a ton of paperwork they have to fill out, they're not just sitting. They come to town, investigate something, and then they sit and do their paperwork while they're watching for cars speeding or, sorry, I have law enforcement in the family, they don't just sit in their cars and watch, contrary to belief.
I'm not saying that they're just the hours that they're here. I know they gotta be all hours and different hours and stuff, but.
Should we go into executive session? Does anybody want to go in and discuss the Stud property,
Done?
agreement? Yeah, that's it, unless there's a bad.
Done.
We'll set it down back, right? Yeah, put that.
You start at 9 o'clock.
There, Steve.
See ya.
See you guys. Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you for coming, Natalie. Yeah, we need a motion to go into executive.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Motion by Aaron, second by Naima to go into executive session for property. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I want a picture after she turns that off,
We can take a picture.
please.
I found it.
Since we have a new member here.
Do you want to take a picture of Natalie? Okay. Came out of executive at 10:04. Okay, so we need to make a motion on Gary.
I shall move to give Gary the, minus the $40 stipend he was provided, monthly stipend, to give him a $3 raise.
Okay, so he will be at 14:45.
Yeah.
All in favor?
I'll second.
Second. So motion by Greg, second by Aaron to give Gary a raise to 14:45 minus the $40 a month stipend. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, and then 2% raise for the other 3 full-time employees, Eric, Steve, and Susan.
I'll make a motion to raise their salary by 2% for the street department and the city finance office.
I'll second.
And we left Sherry out of that until we do a review and then we'll backdate it.
Right.
Motion by Aaron, second by Greg to do a 2% raise for Eric, Steve, and Susan. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. All opposed? Okay, sorry. Okay, anything else? Yeah.
A motion to adjourn.
Second.
Third.
Fifth.
Okay, motion to adjourn by Aaron, second by John. All in favor?
Aye.